Hello, my name is Waverly Matthews. I am the curator at the Off-Broadway Gallery at Pine Street Church here in Boulder, Colorado. And I want to take a moment to introduce you to an artist friend of mine, Shay Davis. Shay began his artistic career at the age of 5 by drawing superheroes, like a lot of us who like to draw when we were kids. And after a promising athletic career ended due to injuries, he returned to his first love and soon began producing compelling paintings in a style best described as magical realism. Shay is part of an upcoming exhibit along with fellow painter Michael Sharon entitled The Enchanted West, 21st Century Interpretations. The exhibit takes place March 3rd through March 25th at the Off-Broadway Gallery here in Boulder. And the artist reception is March 3rd from 5 to 9 p.m. Well, thank you, Shay, for taking time away from painting, which I know is what you'd rather be doing at this moment, to introduce yourself to those of us who may not be familiar with you and your work.
Thank you so much. Michael and I decided, I don't know, it's probably been a year. We decided that we wanted to do something together. And this kind of came to fruition. And so we went with it, and now we only have like a week. So we're going. I've been painting, my goodness, diligently for the last couple months, just trying to get everything ready to go, get the frames ready, get all the paintings ready. And it's been fun, which it always is before show. I love doing shows, and I love just having people there, because you really don't get to see that more than once a year when you have your like big show a year. And it's just been really nice and I'm almost done. I have like maybe 5, 6, 7 hours left of actual painting, and then got to get the frames, and then this thing's ready to go.
Well, good. Let's get on to some questions. Well, that'll help people get to know you. What were the important moments in your life that formed the person and the artist that you are today?
I'd probably say it's athletics. They just growing up being an athlete and just really having to put in all that time for athletics. It kind of turned over into art, where you can't be lazy. You got to just every day, you got to put in the work, just like an athlete. And it is competitive, which it doesn't seem like it, but to me, with athletics compared to the art, it is competitive, because if you're really good, you'll strive. If you don't put the effort in, you won't. And so I think that did it for me. And that started, I mean, I've been, like you had said earlier, I've been doing art for, my goodness, since I was 5. And same thing with athletics, but the art has always been my love. But I strive to do the best work I can, which, a lot of artists just like to paint, and it gives them a release. For me, it definitely is both of those, a release and, a time thing, but I'm competitive. So I want my art to be better than anyone else, which is the way, that's just how I am. And it really has changed my art to where it's, I think, just better art, compositionally, color theory, all these things that I've studied for years took time. And the painting is taken, I mean, I paint, all I do is paint, basically. And you gotta be diligent, you gotta sacrifice. I don't have kids because of art. I gave up that because I just didn't want to like have to go get another job. And it's been 20 years, and it's been worth it. I love it. I love just doing the art. And I just think that it's that competitive athletic side has driven me to just do the best artwork I can, is kind of where that question would be.
Well, it is spectacular work. I love it. And I think everybody's going to be wowed by it when they see it. Well, what is that unique something you feel you or your art offers the art world?
I think that it would be, honestly, and I've told many people this, I've always wanted to be, and I've always looked at other artists in the past, like the Picassos, the Dalis, even Jackson Pollock, which I don't, paint like him at all, but other artists who have done something that was super unique that no one else had done. And that's what I try to do. Something, because this underwater series I'm doing for this show, I've never seen anything like it. And so when I started doing these years ago, I was like, I kind of came up with this idea and I was like, man, I think this is unique and cool, creative. Let's make it work and make the painting look good and appealing to someone who would want to buy it, but so unique that no one's ever seen it. And that's what I've always strived to do, is to do stuff that no one's ever seen. Because just like I said, I've been studying in the past, and other artists who have done that became Picasso, Dali. I mean, just out of this world. And I'm not just trying to get famous, but they were out of this world, and they're still out of this world to this day. $100 million paintings, $200 million paintings. I mean, it's incredible. And it's because they did something that no one else had done. And I think people really like to come into a place or a gallery or museum, and they want to see stuff that has not been done. Because everyone's seen, a portrait of a guy or a girl. And when there's something that's super unique, people are like, whoa, they step back and they just kind of lose it, because it's something that they've never seen before. And that's my goal, is to do really good stuff that's super unique for the viewer. And
yeah, looking at some of your art, I've seen a lot of paintings of people, of hunters and fishermen and that sort of thing, but I've never seen the hunter or the fisherman from the perspective of the prey, like the fish looking up out of the water and seeing a fisherman up on a boat outside. It's very unique. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. And that's kind of the whole goal, was just to, I talked to Jen, and she does so well. And I was like, and she was like, try, a different series. Because before I had been doing the surrealism. And so I was like, well, I'm not just going to paint some buffalo in the landscape. I want to do something that's in that genre, but super unique. And then I kind of I don't know how I came up with it. I really don't. I'm trying to think about this cool vibe where it's like you said, underwater, with the fish view looking up at a fisherman or a bear or a duck coming down to, and I don't know why it seems to always in these new ones it's always a prey versus the hunter. And I guess that you give some drama to it, but I've thought about, like, shoot, if I keep doing these and I get more and more and more, I'm like, how many more damn animals can I have, like, hunting these fish, But it definitely, it's working for now. And I love doing them. I like this series as far as the aesthetics, and then also the actual time doing them. I'm having more fun than any other series or any kind of art I've ever done in my life.
Cool. Well, you're in some pretty interesting collections of some very famous people, actresses and famous athletes and that sort of thing. But I'm wondering, are you proud of that, or is there some other accomplishment that you're most proud of in your artistic career?
I think it's probably just being able to do this for 20 plus years without having to get another job. Putting in that hustle every day to make it a career, because it's tough. And I don't know many artists that have had over a 20-year career of just doing art. And so that definitely is probably my biggest accomplishment, is be able to have done this for that long without a job, and the hustle to get it done. Got to sell a print, got to sell this painting, constantly on the internet. Like, it's just, I don't know how I could work a 9 to 5 and then do this. It just wouldn't, it just doesn't mesh. And so that would probably be the biggest thing, is just the being able to do what I love for my adult life.
I think there are a lot of people that are envious of you, a lot of artists, especially, who try to do that full-time job or even a part-time job and the art on the side, and they struggle. And the fact that you were brave enough to go all in, just all in, and the hard work, the hustle that you talked about, that takes, is something that not everybody can endure and put up with.
Well, especially, like I said earlier, with the, I don't know if I could have done it if I had 3 kids, you know? Yeah. And it's a lifestyle, and you really have to be into it to make it work, because it is tough. And yeah, like I said, other artists out there, I don't know how I could work a 9 to 5 and then go home and paint till 2 with kids. There's no way. So you choose one or the other. And very few have probably, well, I do know a lot of artists with kids. Not many can deal with full-time job, dad, and then paint on the side. It's never worked for me. I've always wanted it to be just my work all the time, just to get better and to produce enough all day, every day, that I can get everything out there. And that is definitely unique, but that's my path.
Yeah. Well, that's the price a lot of great artists had to pay in order to make it. They had to sacrifice a lot of things.
Yes.
And, a lot of them end up divorced or choose not to even have a family like you did. So
yeah.
Kudos to you in your choice, and that you stuck with it and had the courage to follow through. So congratulations on that. Well, one final question. What would you like to accomplish in the next 12 months?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because I usually am a day-to-day guy or a month-to-month, like not in life, but in just general. And so right now I'm just like really focused on March. And after that, I do have some commissions and some stuff to get done, but I definitely say that a 12-year deal, I don't even think that far ahead, but it will probably be pretty much the same. If anything, and I had a friend I talked to the other day, and maybe a little series, not a big one, but a couple, maybe 5 or something, of kind of deep water fish, where it's got that same, with coral reef instead of rocks. Instead of the lake, it's got coral reef and got like mahi and sharks, and maybe a guy on a boat fishing. So I might delve into that. But who knows? That's the thing. I don't really know. I might still, if these sell well, I'll just keep doing more fishermen and bears and ducks and that kind of thing. And
I hope you do the saltwater series, because I love deep sea fishing. I did that when I lived back east, and
oh, sweet.
It was such a rush. It was such a blast doing that. So I'd be very interested in seeing that work if you.
Well, man, I'm telling you too, like the limits of what I could do are incredible. Because right now I can do fishermen with trout, salmon, bears, ducks, beavers. That's about it. You go into the sea. I can have cool colored fish everywhere, and guy catching sailfish, whatever, really actually cooler looking fish. But we'll see. That's definitely something I definitely will do in time, because I really, really like doing the underwater looking up. And I definitely want to do that seawater series.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about some Hieronymus Bosch's paintings where he had those kind of fantastical animals that don't really exist. And some of your early work showed animals that don't really exist either. And I'm wondering, maybe eventually you could combine the magical realism with the underwater stuff and have strange fish that don't exist, or strange water animals that don't exist. Sky's the limit.
I would love it. Sky is the limit. Geez, yeah, you're so right. And I think the only thing that I've these underwater, kind of basically North American painting, they do really well. Way better than when I was doing crazy Creek, because a lot of people don't understand it. So even if they're rich and they want to buy a painting, they're like, why does that tiger have a headdress on spitting out butterflies? I'm like, because it's cool. But they're like, oh, that is really cool, but I think I'd rather just have a fish with a guy catching it underneath the water. And so that kind of thing has kind of had me kind of fade away from just doing really Bosch, because he's my favorite. I'm surprised he brought that up. He's my favorite of all the artists that have ever lived. Mm-hmm. And I just loved some of those paintings that he did. And I've seen some in real life, and they're incredible. And I've kind of not followed his lead, but he was kind of an influence doing these crazy paintings I did for so many years, basically 20. And people they love them, but they're like, I don't know if I can put it in my house. I'm like, come on,
No, you got a lot of folks out in Hollywood who put them up in their homes, so, yeah. So good for them.
Well, and that's the thing. You got to find the right people, and the right people was very minimal. Whereas now there's a lot more traffic, I guess, a lot more people interested in just getting a fisherman with a fish. And I love doing it. I actually do. And I'm looking at one right now that I'm almost done. It's that huge one I'm doing, 4 by 6 foot, and a big bear coming down after a salmon. And I'm kind of like up in the air on what I even like better now. Where before I'm like, oh man, I love doing this, the funkiest stuff you can do. But now I'm like, gosh, I really like doing these just as much or more, which is kind of odd from being such a wild guy doing these crazy tigers with hats.
I think a lot of people are going to love it. So thank you so much for your time, Shay. I know you need to get back to producing the work and finishing that big bear painting. So get to it. But thank you so much for the gift of your time. We appreciate it.
You got it, buddy. Good talking.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, remember that art exhibit, The Enchanted West, 24th Century Interpretations, will be at the Off-Broadway Gallery at Pine Street Church on March 3rd from 5 to 9 p.m. Hope to see you there. Thank you very much.